This LOS is calculate and interpret relative frequencies and cumulative relative frequencies given a frequency distribution. Okay, a good way to illustrate the calculation for a relative frequency is to just do a practice question. So in this question, an analyst gathers the following information about the price-earnings ratios for the common stocks held in a portfolio. So there's 4 intervals. The PE range 8 to 16, 16 to 24, 24 to 30, and 30 to 28. And then they have the frequency. So the relative frequency for interval 2 is closest to 47.27%, B 52%, or C 65.45%. Okay, this question is not so difficult. The answer is A. The relative frequency is 47.27%. So it's asking us for the relative frequency of interval 2. So we can see the frequency there is 52. And all we have to do in terms of the relative frequency is the frequency divided by the total. So if we add up 20 plus 52 plus 24 plus 14, that's going to equal 110. So 52 divided by 110 is going to equal 47.27%, and that's our relative frequency for interval number 2. Very easy. Okay, here's a slide on how to calculate the relative frequency, and it's not too difficult. So in the text, CFA curriculum, they've got the S&P 500 returns annual, but here I'm using the monthly return data, okay? So you can see the intervals, they've made it into smaller ranges, 2%. So for example, if we look at the top here, the interval is from negative 30% to negative 20%. And we had an absolute frequency of 1 month. 1 month fell within that, with a return in that range. Then also you can look that from January 26 to December 2012, we had 1,044 months. So that's the total number of months, and therefore the total number of observations that we're going to have, 1,044. So if we look here, starting at the top, 1 divided by 1,044 is going to be 0.1%, okay? And then we're going to start counting the number, the absolute frequency, and we're going to add that, last range plus the new range equals, the cumulative frequency. So for example, if we pick this range right here, we can see that up until this stage, we had 25 observations falling from negative 10% all the way down to negative 30%. And then into the next range, the negative 10% to negative 8%, we had 23. So 23 months. So 25 months plus 23 months is going to give us our 48 months. And if we divide, and there's our 48 there. And if we divide by 1,044, we can see, I'm just going to bring up the calculator. I'll just move it over here to the left-hand side. So we can just see 48 months divided by 1,044 months is going to give us, and if I multiply by 100, just so we can see the number a little bit more clearly, is going to give us 4.59. And yes, sure enough, there's my 4.6%. So that's how we get our cumulative frequency. It's not too difficult to calculate. You have to know your total number of observations, and then you just start from the lowest and you keep counting and adding as you go. So if you look at where you've gotten to cumulatively, the number of observations divided by the total, that gives you your cumulative frequency. And that's the last slide for this LOS. Thank you.